to come out and stop crime. Why would you have a quota? You gotta have 50 arrests every month. That means then crime needs to be created. Why is prisons privatized? If I own a business as a private citizen and I own a business, my business is supposed to make money. If a prison is private, what's the only way a prison's gonna make money? If someone gets locked up, you know what I'm saying? So then it becomes like, okay, we gotta figure a way to lock niggas up. You know what I mean? Like, it's the government, yo. It's a bunch of greedy politicians.
SouLivate.
What's really good, everybody? This is where you come to get your soul on. This is where you soul off. And this is the only mother stinking place that you never, ever, ever soul out, man. And today,
yo, son. Yo, you remember when we first met, when Igor brought me to your crib?
Yeah,
I walked in your house, right? And you were asleep. And you came out, you had the blue, like this blue fleece hoodie on.
Yeah.
But like, you look like a prophet. I'm like, yeah, he's one of them.
Yo, can I please do the introductions, man? But we're gonna talk about.
Go ahead.
We're gonna talk about it because, man, I remember I just was thinking about that day. But yo, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, all my soul fits out there, man. That's what we call the SouLivate family. They're soul fits. All our soul fits out there, man. Look, today we have a super special treat, man. So I've said this before publicly. I'm gonna say it again, that to me, in my humble opinion, man, that this is the greatest lyricist of all time. I say this with absolute seriousness. This is someone that I shouted out, especially on one of my songs. I said Big Out, the greatest ever did it. This has always been someone that I have looked up to as far as an MC, but also musically, because this artist has grown from, you know, being a crazy lyricist into an actual musician. And back in the day, man, like, you know, with everybody that we used to run with, we all used to look up to this man. So, you know, he has, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of songs in his catalog. You know what I'm saying? He has some of the most memorable lines of all time. I'm a nightmare and the nightmare is nightmare. I don't fight fair. Like, crazy, most memorable lines. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, I bring to all of you, man, this is a super special treat, man. Alcoholic, aka narcotic, aka of course Alpha, man. I'm giving my applause, man.
Yo, but you know what though? I'm just like, in my mind, like, yeah, we on the pod, but I'm just hanging out with my best friend, yo.
Word. But that's what it is, man. That's how, like, you know what I'm saying? That's how we like to do it, man. But thank you so much for doing this, Alpha. Thank you so much for being here. There's so much to talk about. But the first question I want to ask you is, what have you been up to as of late? And especially what we want to know is what you've been up to musically, man.
Thank you. I mean, like, well, let me see. For the last 6 weeks, I finally just like, I'm like, bet, let me start recording the stuff I've been writing that I felt like needed to be heard. You know what I mean? And I just like got back to that old school consistency. But then me and my wife got back together. So I'm like super happy.
Yo, congratulations, man. That's beautiful. Yo, I just want to say something, right? Because Alpha talked about us meeting, but just so everyone understands, right? Alpha is a 6'7", right? He's a titan. He's like, you know, tall, dark, and handsome. But what I want to say is, right, Alpha has always had like this, because, you know, we all came from the streets and everything, but Alpha had like this street to him, right? And then he had like this intellectual side to him. Why am I saying this? Because as we were running the streets, Alpha was in college, and professors used to put Alpha into poetic contest, man. See, I got great memory. You remember that, Alpha, man?
Yeah.
You
That was
remember that?
deep. Yo, son, hold on. Let me cut you
Man,
off. Yo, you remember the Asian chick I used to chase, Grace? And you came
word.
to the college, you was chilling with me. We was in the cafeteria and she tried to play me and you checked her, yo. He's like, yo, why you just tell him that, yo? And I was
Word.
like, yo, that's my nigga, dog.
Yo, but really, like, I think that's is so impressive, man, because this is the man that started to read the 5 books of Moses at the age of 5. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
so this is somebody that always had like these two worlds colliding, man. And so lately I've been getting some heat from you, man. Talk about this last track that I heard, man, because it's on a classic hip hop beat, man. Like, how did that come about, man? I was so excited to hear shit from you, bro.
I wrote a song. I wrote a song, but no, shout out to West Side Gun. That's his first mixtape. Hitler Wears Hermes.
Yeah.
And he has this beat on there. And I heard the beat and it just took me there. And I wrote on it, but I'm like, no, that's West shit. But then
Mhm.
I'm chilling. Like recently, I was just chilling, like a week ago. And I thought of Cam. Cam did the Bout It beat. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
then it just clicked. And I'm like saying a rhyme in my head, listening to the beat. I'm like, oh, I gotta go lay this shit. And when I laid it, I'm like, oh, this shit don't even make me think about it. I'm like, yeah, I gotta lay this. Word up. And that's why I was just like, I bet I'm gonna lay it. For
Yo, I
real.
was
And
as a through and through Alpha fan, bugged me out.
thank you.
Like, we was, you know what I'm saying, riding yesterday, man. I had this shit on the car the whole day, man. I was super excited. So we are, and you are, like, I mean, you're very musical, but we are East Coast. So how do you feel an artist of your caliber pulling up a classical West Coast beat like this and doing what you
No,
did?
that's down south, son. That's
Okay,
New
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Orleans,
That's
yo.
right. That's right. That's right. It's down south. It's
No, but
Massachusetts,
it do
man.
got the West Coast shit
It
though, because
do.
that's
It
from
do.
Dr. Dre. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's when Dre did the like the Snoop shit. So Master P and them, like that's the shit that was hot. Nah, but it's like, yo, but son, the illest shit about that song, everything I'm saying is true.
Yes,
Niggas
sir.
really followed me.
Yo, talk
Word,
about
like
that.
I had to
Talk,
it was two
talk about
cars
that.
following me. I had to stop at the gas station, act like I'm going in. The cars came in, then I dipped, and then they followed me to Bristol Gardens. And I went in, remember my apartments? I went and sat down. Then my head got hot. I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
something's wrong. I go outside, the white car sitting outside. And I'm walking, they keep following me. So finally I got angry and I started chasing the car. Then it jetted. I guess they thought I had a burner. And then I dipped again. Them niggas came where I was. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So then I went back to my BM crib and I'm like, yo, her sister was there. I'm like, yo, you the only one here. You the only one knew I was leaving, what time I was leaving, yo. You know this. That's why I said I swear my baby mother's sister put the drop on me.
Yeah.
Word, like all that shit happened, son.
Yo, you talk a lot about disloyalty in this track. And this is not the first time that you pick up this subject, man. Where does this come from? Because you always, so just for everybody to understand, Alpha has always been the center of, I don't want to say attention, but the center of gravity, right? Like, so we all gravitated towards, like, to Alpha. That's, he was like the
Thank
vortex and
you.
shit. So nah, but it's the truth, right? So you kind of kept all of us magnetically together. So where do you get like all of this disloyalty? Where does that come from, man?
Yo, like if I'm gonna be honest, son, and it's weird. I was talking to someone at work the other day, and he was just like, he don't want to get too famous or rich because it brings too much hate and fake people. And I was just like, bruh, I've been hating my whole life, son. My own brother burned my face with an iron when I was 5, son. You know what I mean? So it was like, and I like I lost my virginity when I was 19, but I was always fucking with girls. So
Yeah.
it's just like I always been like pure hearted, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas people always have their like intentions. So I've noticed that, like, whereas I would have to get hurt to then notice, like, damn, this nigga ain't ever fuck with me, yo. You know what I mean? Like he had his motive, you know what I mean? So that's when I started like praying to God, like, give me awareness, please, because I'm pure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go into situations with intentions. I do what I feel like, what's true in my heart, and I treat people how I want to be treated. So I don't go into like situations with like ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like really sit and pray to God, like, okay, please open my eyes, because people just gonna keep doing this to me, and I'm hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just wrote the song I just wrote. You ain't even hear it yet. You know what I mean? Well, I put a little snippet on Instagram. It's to the Stillmatic intro. And I'm like, I've been crying so much, all my anger is out.
Mm.
I've been so angry, but you know me, like I'm a pacifist, so I'll just like hold my anger in. Because all our
Yes.
friends are crazy, son. Like, we just witness all this crazy shit all the time. And I'm like, man, I'm like, and I don't follow like street rules, niggas rules. I'll just follow God's law. So I'll be like, but I'm
Yo,
not
that's
with that,
crazy.
but I'm so angry. You know what I'm saying? For
That's
real.
crazy, man.
So
And I'll say that it takes a lot to get you angry. That's another thing like that I used to admire about you, because like I said, you're 6'7". Like if you won, you'd be knocking motherfuckers out left and right. But you was always, righteous. You always wanted to, take the peaceful route and everything, man. So it's crazy to hear that you get angry, because I know it takes a lot to get you angry, man. But
uh,
what would you tell a young artist that's coming up, the young kids right now, 17, 18, 19, and they're running the streets, and they got they click and everything, and they might be worrying about the same thing, man. They want to get in the game, but they're worried about the hatred, the snakes, the rats and everything. Like what would you tell a young artist based on your own experience?
like what do you want to talk about?
Well,
Like, why do
like,
you make music? Do you want to
mm,
be heard, to be seen? Like, why do you know what I mean? Like, why do you want to rap? Why do you want to make music? Why do you even want attention? Like, do you know why you want attention? And if you want attention, that's even worse. Why do you want attention? You know what
that's
I'm saying?
crazy.
Like, it's like, Bird, I just told my niece that yesterday. I'm like, yo, beauty breeds attention. The price of beauty is attention. And I'm like, you cool with it now, but there's an evil side to it. So it's like, why do you want attention? That's why for so long, like, you never see me promote music or nothing. Because it's like, in the Bible, it's like, that's idolism. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be an idol, but I just have to be like, damn, okay, I'm just a poet. Fuck it. So let me just, you know what I mean? Because this shit's deep, son. My wife, they were trying to deport me, son. I went to the U.S. court, son, and Carol had to come and testify and tell the judge, like, yo, no, we only broke up because, like, I couldn't deal with it. He wouldn't care. He just do his music, but he been doing music since he was a kid, so I couldn't like tell him stop. You know what I mean? And that's when the
Crazy.
judge was like, okay, bet. And they didn't deport me. Like,
Yo, that's
you know what I mean?
crazy.
Like,
When did this happen, man?
yo, like, what was this? 2000 something, son. I went to court for deportation. I was on trial. Yo, you know what saved me, son?
Mm,
Yo, the US prosecutor came and he asked me, he's like, are you a terror? No, first he said, are you a murderer? Son, I started laughing, yo. It was so funny to me. I'm like, yo, the judge started slamming the gavel. It was a woman.
mm,
And she was like, are you high? Yeah, I was high as shit.
mm, 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 mm,
Because I'm like, yo, these niggas about to deport me, son.
yeah,
It's over with. Yo, I got bent, yo. He slammed. And I looked at the judge. I'm like, yo, what kind of question is that? Am I a terrorist? Like, I'm going to
Crazy.
tell you yes. You know what I mean? So then, yo, he come back and he looked at the next question and he just looked at me and shook his head. He's like, are you a terrorist? Yo, I just broke out dying, yo. But then I stopped and the judge, like, he came forward and the judge looked at him. The judge was like, I don't think he's a bad person. And the prosecutor was like, I don't think he is either. And that's when the judge granted me my green card.
Wow. Yo, because that's what I mean. That's what I mean, man. That's why it's always a disconnect. Because, like I said, man, you're this 6'7" titan and shit. Like, motherfuckers will always think like you're a shot caller. You running like you're a Suge Knight type of motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you could, like, we talked about this before. Like, when we were young, you could be if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But people get this disconnect. They don't understand that, you know, behind this cover of a book, there's a huge, deep world in there that's highly educated, highly wise, highly, you know, intelligent and spiritual. Like, there's a whole world and shit. You know what, and congratulations, you know, I'm glad that you got, you know what I'm saying, the green card is good and everything. You know what subject we talk about on here a lot?
Oh, it was 2012. My fault.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
2012.
You know what subject we talk about on here a lot, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Is so let's take Chicago drill, right? Because now there's Philly drill and all that too. But so let's take somebody like a Keen Vaughn specifically, right? And Lil Durk, because you got to remember, Lil Durk, he's the one that kind of pulled Keen Vaughn. He brought him into the game because they was from the same hood or whatever. So now,
he blew him up.
So now you have a kid like a Keen Vaughn, rest in peace, that is, you know, selling crazy records. He's a multi-millionaire, but yet he's still catching bodies. So here is my question, and this is what I want to know your opinion on. Us as a society, how are we to deal with something like that we know that these kids are openly catching bodies and we're still going out there and we're purchasing the music, we're watching the videos, we're liking the reels and shit? Like, how is it, like, are we so rotten as a society that we enable these young people to basically self-destruct? Like, what do you think? Like, how should we as a society deal with something like that? And should hip hop culture be responsible for something like this?
I mean, I don't think like a culture can be responsible for a person's actions. You know what I'm saying? Because then that person was not an individual. They were just a follower. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I think Vaughn just witnessed too much pain. And he was one of them type of people like, all right, I'll break it down. One time I got in a fight and niggas tried to jump me and Ace came through with the burner. So it was like somebody who loved their friends and then they seeing their friends get killed, but they're not going to be like, oh, you know what? Murder begets more murder. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, nah, fuck that. You can't get away with that. And that was just Vaughn. Like, but then you get caught up in that and start doing too much. So I think too, like, lack of guidance.
Yeah, but look,
lack of God.
Okay, so but here, like, excuse me for interrupting you, but my question is, like, obviously he's from the streets. We understand what what you're talking about, but now he's out. He's making millions of dollars. He's employing people, and he's still, you know what I'm saying, calling shots to.
Nah, feel me though. Nah, this is the shit I learned like recently, yo. Well, a few years ago. I'm like, yo, niggas be on this street code shit. Like, whatever happened to following God's law? If we follow God's law, none of this shit would be happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Vaughn was following the street code. And it's basically like that mafia shit, mafia code, omerta and all that, which is basically evil, is demonic, is devilish.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We should be following God's law.
Okay.
For real.
So how do you think us as a society, like, should we still keep consuming this? Because it's one thing for a Nas or a Tupac to talk about the streets and then talk about the lessons we learned in the streets, but it's another thing where a young kid is actually telling you about the ops that he smoked, metaphorically and literally and shit. Like, how should we proceed with this as a society? Because it's us basically enabling these kids to keep doing what they're doing and to self-destruct. Because what I said is, look, he had nobody that loved him. Lil Durk didn't love him, because if you loved him, you would have sent him either to rehab or to counseling or to something, son. You're not gonna watch your man's, you know what I'm saying, made it out and he's still calling shots and shit to take ops out. Like, come on, man.
Real.
So you know what I mean? Like, how should
But
we
you gotta
deal with
think too though, son. Dirk grew up in the same shit too, son. Them niggas killed Dirk brother, they killed his cousin, like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit's grafted in them, yo.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I'm
they
saying?
out, bro. They out. Look,
no, but think about it, Nas.
You from Liberia, brother. We're talking about America. You're from Liberia.
No, but feel me. We got lucky because our parents were smart. Our parents was like, look at you. You started in Trenton. You know what I mean? In the hood. But then your mom like, nah, this shit wild. And she moved to the suburb. You know what I mean? I was in Park Hill in Staten Island. Then I came to Bristol. So we got lucky. We came to the suburb where it was peaceful, where we could calm down. But we were already so wild, we just kept doing street shit. So now imagine if we would have stayed in like the hood. You know what I'm saying? Imagine them kids stayed in the hood, yo. So it's really like, it's the government's fault.
Okay. Talk about that.
For real, yo, it's the government's fault because it's not even like it's a necessary evil. It's basically just greed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why would police have a quota? Like, you're supposed to come out and stop crime. Why would you have a quota? You gotta have 50 arrests every month. What that means then crime needs to be created. Why is prisons privatized? If I own a business as a private citizen and I own a business, my business is supposed to make money. If a prison is private, what's the only way a prison's gonna make money? If someone gets locked up,
they gotta stay.
You know what I'm saying? So then it becomes like, okay, we gotta figure a way to lock niggas up. You know what I mean? Like, it's the government, yo. It's a bunch of greedy politicians, and I keep saying this shit. We're in a modern era. We don't need representatives. That was ancient, where we didn't have the internet and we couldn't like connect. So we had to have people where we could say, okay, you like represent us in the law. But now, like, yo, look at Facebook. Everyone could go on Facebook and vote on the law.
Yo,
we don't need a representative. We don't need a senator. We don't need a president. You could go right on the internet and be like, okay, yo, what should we do to a rapist? And we could all vote on it.
Wow.
For real.
You talked about this, and I want you to get deeper on this, because I remember, and I brought up this example to like my wife and everything, because you blew my mind. Like, I remember you telling me when we was younger, you were like, look, they're teaching the kids like math and geography and all that. He's like, Alpha said that every child, first of all, should be taught the law. Know everything about the law. You remember when you said that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so talk about that. That's such a deep concept. So you think that we can self-sufficiently run ourselves basically now, right?
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Like, look at you. Look at your position. Look at my position. You know what I mean? You accept what I'm doing. I accept what you're doing. That's basically it. We have to accept what each of us can do and each of us is capable of. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically that. But We don't need representatives. Because think about it. Now look at Congress, like the legislation, they're making laws without us saying, okay, we're cool with that. But there actually are representatives. So why are they making laws without us saying, yo, all right, we want this law? That's that saying, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Wow.
For real, yo.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy. That's
saying?
very deep. But let's go back to someone like a Keen Vaughn. What I want to know is, first of all, like a Keen Vaughn and like a Lil Durk, do you like them musically? Did you bump their shit?
Yo, I peep it. It's funny when Chief Keef came out, I liked his song. You know what I mean? I don't like, you know what I mean? But when I heard Durk's song, well, what was it? This ain't what you want. It was musical. I'm like, yo, this kid's an artist, yo.
Okay.
Like when I heard him, I'm like, no, he's not a rapper. He's an artist. You know what I mean? But what made me like Von was like, Von was a gangster, but yo, when Von got his first check, he went to the hood with like 100 or like 200,000 and just shared it with his friends. And I was like, oh, he's a good person. He's just a gangster. You know what I mean? Like he's caught up, like he don't have the right, like you could tell they didn't have like a big brother.
Guidance, yeah, the OG.
You know what I mean? Like for real, yo. So they good kids, yo, but you become corrupted.
Okay.
You become corrupted, yo. And then think about it. You get more power and you're not getting the positive insight. So your corruption grows further.
So
you know
again,
what I'm saying? Like they're just a bunch of kids who grew up in environments they weren't supposed to be in. No kid should be in the fucking projects, bro. Yo, think about it. Like, if me and you go outside, we chilling, we hear gunshots, it ain't even gonna bother us.
Yeah, that's
And
not
that's
normal.
not normal.
It's not normal, man. Yeah.
Yo, I was dating this British girl, right? She had just moved from Britain, and we met in college, and we were dating, and we were chilling in Bristol Gardens by the park by my house. And she was bad, son. She looked like Cindy Crawford, son. And we chilling and black. I ain't even gonna say all the names. You know what I mean? I guess he got jealous. The nigga just came and just pulled out, saw a shoe and pop, pop, pop in the air. He was like, "Oh, this way to show you what the real gangsters are." Like I'm so used to it, I just looked at him like smiling. It didn't hit me till later. She like dipped, son. She ain't talked to me for like 6 months.
She got traumatized.
And like that's when it hit me like, damn, he was jealous. You know what I mean? That's why I told you I'll be praying for awareness now. And when I talked to her, she was like, you know how scared I was? And then that's when I started thinking like, damn, why is this shit normal to me?
She got traumatized probably. Like
exactly, son. But we're so used to it, it's like, all right.
Yeah, that's not normal, man. So
again, ain't normal at all, son.
So again, going back to what I was trying to ask you before, like who should be responsible for the fact that we are seeing these young, as you said, talented musicians and artists self-destructing themselves in this type of way? Like when Keen Von passed, like I was sad, man. And then, you know, that Trap Lord Ross or whatever, that guy that does these mini documentaries on him glorifying, you know, the gangster lifestyle. He made a video, I don't know if you ever seen this, where it proves how Keen Von is a mass murderer. But I'm sitting
I heard of that.
Yeah, but I'm sitting back and I'm thinking again, like as an adult, as an OG, I'm thinking like, yo, who should be responsible for the fact that we are losing these young talented guys? And then someone like a Trap Lord Ross from UK, he don't got shit to do with it. He's making money on the fact that we just lost this young man. Who should be responsible for this?
It's two things, right? If you exclude people from it, it's two things. It's greed and attention. You know what I mean? It's greed and attention. Attention basically is fame. So basically it comes down to desire. It's in Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. To want, that's desire. Desire is the root of evil. You know what I mean? They say greed is the root of evil. Greed is desire. Desire is the root of evil. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why it says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Because once you want, that's when you start doing shit that, you know what I mean? It's malfunctioning society. So it's desire, son, is greed and attention, yo. And then you put the two together. Now you got the whole world watching you, and then you're getting money. Son, that's like a recipe for disaster, yo.
What do you think was the difference between, let's say, someone like a Tupac and a Biggie? Like Tupac, you know, he was an educated guy, like he was in the movies and everything, but then he chose like this, you know, Murder Inc. type of, you know, he was associated with Bloods and all of that because he had sugar, whatever. But Biggie, I mean, Biggie went to private school and all that, but you know, he was from Best Eye. He seen the streets and all of that. So how would you what was the difference between the way a Tupac and a Biggie moved back then and the way
remember though,
a Durk and a King Von moves these days?
Nah, you see, and this is the thing, it's like Biggie just grew up in Bed-Stuy, and Bed-Stuy, like everyone know it. Biggie was a smart kid, all A's, just like Tupac. All A's. And don't forget, Tupac put Biggie on. That was Biggie's mentor. But the problem is with Pac was always positive, even though he was in the hood. Pac didn't get angry until he got shot.
Yeah.
That's when he got angry, when he got shot.
Shout out
and they set him up and he got shot in the studio.
Shout out to Quad Studios, because you was recording in there. Remember that night?
No, we were in Bad Boy.
Wasn't it Quad? Wasn't it the original?
No, we were in Daddy's house before Puffy closed it.
Okay. So go back to the point you're trying to make. So Pac was positive, Biggie was smart, man. So what's the difference between, let's say, these two guys and two guys like a King Von and a Lil Durk?
Pac, all right. Pac was a leader mentally, like from young. That's why he would make Brenda's Got a Baby. You know what I mean? And then even if you listen to Biggie before he met Pac, and you listen to Biggie after he met Pac, Biggie started rapping like Pac.
Yeah, partying bullshit. He was on some partying bullshit.
Yeah. But when he met Pac, Pac showed him so much love that it changed the way he thought, which is what we're talking about, guidance. You know what I mean? But Biggie, like, even when, think about it, when Pac got mad at Biggie, like, Pac said it, I don't think Biggie got me shot, but I think he knows who did it.
Right.
And he ain't telling me shit, and that's pissing me off. You feel me? And Biggie never like will respond on interviews. Now Biggie like, no, I don't want to talk about that, because he know, like, yo, Biggie to me was loyal, yo. But Pac just went too far, especially when he said, that's why I fucked your bitch. You know what I mean? Or that's why I fucked your wife. That's when Biggie lost it. Like, yo, fuck this nigga, yo. Word up. You know what I'm saying? Like, word. Like, I think it was just like a big brother, little brother syndrome. And Biggie was becoming mature. Pac was mature young because his mom was a Black Panther.
Yeah.
Biggie's mom was a teacher. So that's why Biggie was smart. But Pac's mom was a Black Panther. So she was teaching him about the government, revolutions, and all that since he was a kid. So he had like his mom. It's like a Fidel Castro and a Che Guevara.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Word up. Fidel was going like, trying to like change the country. Yo, it's deep, son.
Yo, I gotta say.
You want to hear something, ill?
Go ahead, please.
Yo, when I was working at Nikon, I was studying the Cuban Revolution, because they would be like, y'all can use the computers because we take calls and we fix people's cameras and shit through technical support. So I started studying the Cuban Revolution. Yo, son, why a kid from Cuba who just moved from Cuba come and start working there?
Yo, that's crazy.
As I'm studying it, and me and him, like, we just become like cool as hell. And I'm studying, he's like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, yo, I'm studying the Cuban Revolution. And he just started telling me like about Cuba. I'm like, yo, that's deep, son.
That's
Some
crazy.
deep shit, yo.
That's crazy. I gotta just point this out about the Pac getting shot the 5 times. 5 times couldn't drop me. I took it to smile. I gotta look from a street perspective, right? Like I thought about this a lot. I'm like, yo, there is no way, no we brother, like Alpha, we from the streets, bro. Like, there is no way that Biggie didn't know who shot Pac, son. Like, there is no how is like he coming to his city. This is your city, bro. So like, what do you think about that? Did Biggie know? Like,
No, I disagree. Cause it's like, okay, it's like me, you, and Ace chilling. And you know the niggas that be around us. But say like, you know what I mean? Them niggas don't like you because they know like you like uplifting me. You feel me? You're uplifting me. So they're like, yo, we gotta get this nigga out of here, yo. Cause Biggie's like charting. Biggie's selling platinum, making money. Biggie's their bread and butter. But Pac is the nigga that'll be like, that ain't scared of none of them. And he'll tell them like, yo, Big, yo, why you fucking with them niggas? Or, you know what I mean? You think they're gonna come tell you they about to like try to smoke Pac or smoke me? You know what I mean? Especially if they know like, yo, these niggas love each other. They ain't gonna come tell you, yo, son, yo, we about to smoke Al, yo. You know what I mean? They're
but
not.
are you saying that Biggie didn't know at all? Like
He didn't know. You
the
know
next
why I know
day?
he didn't know?
Wow.
Because Big was a street kid. Big used to run around with gats and all that, did prison times. Why would you put yourself where the murder is gonna happen? Why would you be there?
Yo, that's a crazy point. I never thought about that. Holy shit. That
And
makes
then Pac is walking outside and Caesar's on the patio smoking. See Pac. She's like, yo, Pac, what up, son?
yeah.
And Pac's like, yo, and C's like, yo, Big, Pac outside. Big's like, yo, come up, come up. Well, you just indicted yourself.
Yeah. I never thought about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
That's why I know Big ain't have nothing to do with it, yo. Now, I'm sure though, right after it happened, Big peeped like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he probably seen like in the building, like, why is Haitian Jack chilling with Puff? You know what I'm saying? That's like Haitian Jack chilling with Puff and like some other executive. And like, I know Big peeped all that, like, And then when Pac got hit, that's when Big's like, oh shit, these niggas set this shit up, yo. Well, Big would have never called that nigga to the room, or Big would have left. Because Big did a bid, yo. He would have bounced. Like, nah, y'all about to smoke this nigga, yo, I'm out.
Yo, I never thought about that. That makes a whole lot of sense. That's why a motherfucker in the hood who chooses to sell dime bags of weed specifically chooses that over the coke, because he knows like what the repercussions are, man. Like,
exactly, yo.
yeah,
For real, yo. You know what I mean? That's why Pac said it. Pac said, yo, I know Big ain't have nothing to do with it. He said it. Because think about it. And he didn't say it exactly when it happened. He said it like almost a year later when he healed and he was with Death Row. He said, no, I know Big ain't have nothing to do with it. Because he knew, you know what I mean? Big Pac was in jail and his cousins was there. They was telling him shit. You know what I mean? But Pac, he violated. Once he violated. You know what I mean? And Biggie is like Biggie was a gangster, bro. So once Pac violated, that's when Biggie just went all out.
Yo,
For real. Now, if Biggie did know, so I'm not just, that's an opinion based on logic, what I just told you. But if Biggie did know, it would be like, so what? Biggie didn't like the nigga? You feel me? Word up. Like, whereas Biggie wanted to be there, like, come on, son, street nigga shit. If we selling drugs, son, and we know, like, or whatever, yo, say me and you chilling, and we know, yo, niggas like, yo, this nigga coming here, we about to hit him up. Why would we stay there?
Nah, that makes perfect sense, man. That's crazy. I never thought about that.
And then now we're famous rappers. Why would we stay there?
Yeah, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. So why do you think like
Hold on. Wait. There's a third opinion though. They, you know what I mean? Like the like Brooklyn gangsters that was running shit could have made them niggas like, yo, stay here. And made C's go sit on the basement and wait for Pac, you know what I mean? To call him up. You know what I mean? But all that shit don't make sense, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. My big question was like, why wouldn't Biggie go get the motherfuckers, like bring them motherfuckers the next day or 2 days or whatever, bring them to Pac, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Here it is, like, this is me proving you that this is my city and I'm claiming responsibility that this happened to you. I'm bringing these motherfuckers to you, like, you know what I'm saying?
He
Like,
couldn't have, because right from when Pac left that studio, he cut them off.
yeah,
Think about it. Imagine I'm chilling with you and I get hit up with you. You think me and you gonna talk tomorrow?
God forbid, yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Like, we ain't, bruh, nah, bro.
Man.
Even me, when I got stabbed, son, like, I got stabbed in my friend's house.
Yeah.
And just out of the love of my heart, I would talk to him, like, through different increments. But I cut him off. I'm like, bro, I got stabbed in your house, son. And then you start chilling with the nigga that stabbed me. Like, nah, bro, I ain't fucking with you, yo.
Hell no. Hell no.
For real, yo.
That's crazy.
Like, on another note, I could tell you names, but not on this shit.
Yeah. Yo, let me you know what I just thought about, because we started this conversation with a lot of snakes and rats and the heartbreak. Why do you think Pac made such a drastic change? And we know that this is after he got hit up and he did a bid and everything, but what do you think happened to him internally? And do you think that there are similarities of what you went through, where he had his heart broken from the community that he was fighting for basically his whole life? Did he get his heart broken? Is that why he went all Murder Inc. on the whole world, man?